Hello everyone, MFPallytime here, and welcome back to the A through Z playthrough. In today's video, we're taking a look at Alarak, the second character on our list today. We did not feature him in last year's session, so we're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but incredibly fun character, very, very high skill cap. One that I'm not particularly good at, just so you're fully prepared for that, but is also a very high risk, high reward hero. If you're looking for a character that you can show off just how good you are at him, if you're looking for a character where there's a vast difference between someone who just casually plays Alarak and someone who has mastered his skill set, then he may be the character for you. Very similar to like Kerrigan and Illidan and things like that. So, hopefully we get a good game. Hopefully we can kill some assassins, and I can still show you what makes Alarak so unique.
Finally.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves in the Dragonshire map today. Alarak's Q ability is Discord Strike. This is a frontal cone kind of thing. If you hit someone with it, they are going to be silenced. The reason why I hesitated to call it frontal cone is you also have those two spikes on the side that kind of jet off. So kind of a frontal cone, kind of not. His W ability is telekinesis, and this is the movement skill of Alarak. And it's unique because he can use it to escape situations by self-casting it on himself as he's moving away, or he can use it to pull enemies into him and kind of do like a Kerrigan combo-esque thing where you're pulling them into you and then using another ability to deal damage. His E ability is called Lightning Surge, and this is a heal for Alarak, which allows him to sustain himself on the battlefield quite well. Basically how it works is if you target... How does it work exactly? Deal 64 damage. Okay, so you have to hit a hero with it. The more heroes you hit in a straight line, the more you'll be healed. There's a quest that gives you bonuses if you hit a hero in the middle. We're not going for that quest today. Instead, we are going for basic ability cooldown reduction while we are at high health, because I want to be able to spam my abilities a little bit more. Our trait is something of the highest debate. It is unpronounceable to the internet, or at least in a consensus. I've said it in the ways that Merriam-Webster, the dictionary website, has clearly said with its audio-like examples. I've said it in how I think that commenters are telling me to, and even when I do that, it doesn't matter. Someone still complains in the comments. So I'm going to say dism. I'm going to say sadism. And that's what we're going with. Sorry if you're triggered. Actually, I'm not that sorry if you're triggered. It's really not that big of a deal. Oh, okay, all right, take it down. Didn't see the stealthy coming in. My bad, team, my bad. So, basically, as we continue to land our abilities, let's read it very clear and concise, actually. I won't try to summarize anything. Nice throw by Garrosh there. Alarak's ability, damage, and self-healing are increased by 100% against enemy heroes. Takedowns increase sadism by 3% up to 30%. Sadism gained from takedowns is lost on death. So you see the risk versus reward in play already. There are some talents in here in Alarak's tree that you have now that kind of give him more utility, but as a result, reduce the amount of damage that he would be dealing with sadism. So you kind of have to pick your poison. Do you want to deal more damage, or do you want to maybe have a longer range on your telekinesis? And these are things that you can build around based on how well the game is going. Like if you're having a great game, maybe you don't need the utility. Maybe you don't need to lower that damage, and instead you can just continue to deal damage. So for instance, we already made one of those decisions here with Ruthless Momentum. A lot of people do go for the E-Quest, which is one of his newer talents here, which I'll talk about very soon. He had a pretty interesting redesign. But Ruthless Momentum simply just gives us lower cooldowns as long as we're above 80% health, and we're able to heal ourselves in the lane, so we can kind of control, to an extent, when we have that cooldown reduction. But if we wanted to go for the quest, it does reduce our sadism by 10%. So we're already losing out on a little bit of damage there. Now, you may think that the quest rewards are valuable enough to kind of say, hey, that was worth taking, I should do that. And that is completely up to you. He does have a really interesting talent build now that honestly I think allows for a bit of self-expression, which is a word that I never thought I would use with talents, but honestly I think it's true. Which is good. his design before, he was actually reworked already. He's only been in the game for about a year, but he's reworked already. And basically what happened is his talents were performing just fine, but there was no build diversity at all on Alarak. Everyone was using the same abilities every game. No build diversity whatsoever, which in a lot of instances, Blizzard's not too happy about, and why didn't the tower shoot her? Blizzard's not too happy about, and they like to change whenever possible. Another option that we have here at level 7, we could go for applied force and increase the range of our telekinesis, but instead what we're gonna do is give our telekinesis a slow mechanic as well, which simply means that we will be able to keep our sadism stacks, but also get a little bit of utility out of this ability without sacrificing any damage. Now, I am trying to stay safe here. It is a little difficult when the enemy team is coming up on you like these guys are, but I'm doing my best. Looks like Sonya was actually picking up the Mercenary Lord talent, which is making these minions hit quite hard. We do have Genji coming in for a little bit of reinforcement here. I'm just trying to be really safe with the Valera re-engage, but we'll go ahead and just use our E there and secure that kill. Now with Sonya gone, these guys aren't hitting quite as hard. One thing I could actually have done is just move them back away from the buildings a little bit, which does delay their siege damage, and as you can see, another use of telekinesis. It's a pretty interesting ability because on maps like Battlefield of Eternity, you can actually move people into hazards around the map and like get them stunned. Or on the Infernal Shrines, for instance, if the Punisher is moving towards the tower, you could pull someone away from the wall and have the Punisher jump on top of the character outside of the wall, so you know your Punisher gets a little bit more value. There's a lot of really interesting mechanics with this that not a lot of other characters are able to do. Also, as we continue to get takedowns, as we already mentioned, we will continue to gain in power, but we do lose that power if we die. And that is something that was very clear that they wanted to do in Alarak's design, but not something they really started with right away. It kind of took a little bit of time to really get set in stone. The rework kind of cemented that as his playstyle. You have to do well with Alarak in order to see the results, basically, is what I'm saying. Looks like we might be able to pick up a kill on the enemy team's Kel'Thuzad here. We'll go ahead and move him towards us, take him down with the combo, and slowly walk away from this Artanis, or at least I hope that's what we're going to be doing. Decent throw by the Garrosh there, keeping him in range. We can go ahead and silence him, and then move him. Whoa! Never mind, we're going to be taken down by the Valera. One way we can counter Valera's damage is simply by using telekinesis on her if we see her in stealth, but I've been really, really bad at that this game. Another way we can counter her damage is with Counter Strike, appropriately named in this particular situation. Alarak targets an area and channels for 1 second, becoming protected and unstoppable, which means he can't take any damage and he cannot be crowd controlled. After he takes damage, he's then going to deal damage in a frontal cone, 462 damage right now, and of course that will scale throughout the course of the game. So the idea is you see burst damage coming in, honestly you see any damage coming in, and you want to retaliate, well then go ahead and cast Counter Strike, and you're going to be able to deal a lot of damage very quickly. We do sneak up on Probius and take him down. I was going to pull Sonya back into range, but it looks like she just walked into me. Oh, I don't know how I missed that silence. I don't know how. As I mentioned at the beginning of this series, I'm not particularly good with all of these characters, and Alarak really is, I truly believe, one of the characters that you have to invest a lot of time and effort into in order to be very, very successful. And obviously, I'm not quite doing that. We are going to use Counter-Strike there to deal some pretty substantial damage to these guys, and then slowly back up, waiting for our cooldowns to come back offline as our team is moving in, starting to secure kills. We do see their Kel'Thuzad coming out right now. We can go ahead and secure a kill with our Lightning Surge, our E ability, great at doing that. Kel'Thuzad did delay the turn-in momentarily, but he is he's sneaking up real far here. And I was hoping we could secure a kill, but we weren't quite able to. The Dragon is now pushing the middle lane, and we are going to go for the Rite of Rak'Shir now. Now, this is a very interesting talent that takes the kind of assassination mindset of Alarak and just completely amplifies it. Oh my god. There we go. We got it. Unfortunately, we're dead. So what Rite of Rak'Shir does, it's a 300-second cooldown, crazy long cooldown, But if you put this debuff on a target, they become marked. They know that you are focusing your sights on them, and that may affect the way that they play the game just based on that. So you get a little bit of this like mind game mentality in here where you start like the enemies may start to question where they should position. Where is Alarak right now? Is it safe to be up this far? And honestly, you can sway some matches just with that aspect alone. But if we kill the target that has Rite of Rakshir on them, okay, first of all, hitting a marked hero with Discord Strike increases sadism by 3%. Killing the marked hero increases sadism by 5% and lowers the cooldown of Rite of Rakshir to 10 seconds. So that means that if you have Rite of Rakshir on someone, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? She's right here. If you have a Rite of Rakshir on someone and then they die, all of a sudden Rite of Rakshir basically has no cooldown, which means... So as long as someone kills her here, there we go. You'll notice that we have an increased sadism amount over here on the left above our health. And now we can cast this ability again. So you're incentivized to always be moving this on targets you believe you can kill. Like, I don't know, a Kel'Thuzad that's out of position. But then you get this massive damage increase that can continue to scale. There's no cap on this whatsoever, at least that I'm aware of. I've never stacked it up high enough to see what the cap is. So that means that all of a sudden you have this character that can potentially scale indefinitely, which we do not have in the game in any other circumstance. Other than, I guess, Chromie now, she can continue to scale, but okay, that cheat just came out on Tuesday. You know, that's new. Give me a break. Cut me a little bit of slack. But it really adds the ability to carry in Heroes of the Storm that we haven't seen in any other capacity on any other hero. And if you continue to make these smart plays with Rite of Rakshir, but you also continue to keep yourself alive, which is the hard part. That's the difficult part, especially when they have heroes like Valeera who can kill you from stealth without you ever noticing that she's even there. Well, all of a sudden, you're rewarded for playing well. You're rewarded in ways that no other character is, and it's such a rewarding character design. The risk versus reward here can be so satisfying. And I think it's so much more compelling than characters like the Butcher's design, who kind of have the same basis of risk versus reward, but the complexity of Alarak just does not compare to that of the Butcher. So we're actually doing some interesting things here, body blocking the Kel'Thuzad. Unfortunately, we don't silence him in time, but we're going to be able to chase after him, no problem. These guys are actually grouping up here. We can use our ult to take them both down. Notice that the blind has a very long charge up time that Artanis was using, and it doesn't deal a lot of damage by any means, but we don't need it to deal a lot of damage. We need it to deal literally any damage at all. And then with that, we can control the situation by proccing Counter-Strike and taking him down by using Rite of Rakshir on the Probius, who was obviously out of position and a little over his dead. We're still continuing to scale our damage up right now. We have 152% damage versus enemy heroes right now. That is a phenomenal amount of damage, and we can do so much with that, especially because, honestly, our cooldowns are not very long at all right now. Counter-Strike just sitting at a 30-second cooldown, and that's our ultimate frickin' ability, boys. That's the best one we got. I was actually trying to use the... I was actually trying to... Fuck! How do I get out of here? We can get out of here, right? Nope. I was actually trying to use the Death and Decay to proc Counter-Strike to deal some damage to their Kel'Thuzad, but you'll notice that I pushed up a little bit too far. We were taken down, and now we have to start building this bonus up yet again. So, it can be frustrating to play against characters like Valeera, who can just kind of kill you without you noticing. Can definitely be frustrating when your team doesn't quite work with you. Like, I was going to be fine getting away from that Valeera until the Dragon Knight kicked her on top of me. And I do highly recommend you playing with an organized team when you are playing Alarak. It just makes the whole experience so much better. So much better. But he can still absolutely dominate in quick match in these instances like what you're seeing right now. Even if you're not playing him particularly well like I am. Dude, there are some phenomenal Alarak players out there in the world. Just an absolute pleasure to watch. It looks like they are a complete battlefield tactician. Nothing happens on the map that they don't want to happen. It's so cool. And I really do think he has one of the most rewarding kits to really learn and practice. And I tried for a while, honestly. I tried for a little while, but I don't know. It just didn't keep me for some reason. I don't really know why. I just love the interaction he can have with other things around the map too. So for instance, like the Gazlo turrets here, we can make great use of those. Oh, where's Valeera? She's still dead. Okay, we'll just recall. So like the Gazlo turrets, for instance, we can get more value out of those simply by moving people into the Gazlo turrets. Well, that sucks. At level 20, this kind of risk versus reward behavior was attempted to be accentuated here with his talents. So you have Hasty Bargain. Activate to permanently reduce Alarak's sadism by 4%, so he's going to permanently deal 4% less damage. But he can just reset his basic ability cooldowns. And that's on a 20-second cooldown. So essentially you could do your combo, you could do your Q twice on a single target, which on most people in this game would be enough to kill them. So if you use Rite of Rakshir and then you hit the double Q on someone, you're going to gain enough sadism back to justify the cooldown reduction spent, but that's only if you're able to kill those targets within that time period, which can be very, very, very difficult to do. And if you mess up, again, you're punished for that because you're losing overall damage when you just don't have to. Last Laugh, once again, a great escape tool, allows you to teleport for a massive distance, probably the longest blink in the game, but as you blink, you are going to be reducing your health down to 1, so if there's any lingering dot effects, actually, it might remove those. Activate teleport to location, removing all root slows and damage over time effects, so it does remove those, so I take that back. But if the enemy team has gap closers, if they have a Genji, a Tracer, any type of global, if there's an Abathur mine on the ground, all of a sudden, you once again are punished quite hard for using that ability. So the safest one to go for, the one I usually pick, is Deadly Charge. It allows you to do things like this and engage. Well, I got hit, so it canceled. It allows you to do. It allows you to. Okay, never mind. Basically, you can engage super hard with it and deal a lot of damage, and it's really, really fun. Allows you to chase really, really hard. I was gonna go kill their Kel'Thuzad. Would have gotten me killed, obviously, because the enemy team moved in pretty aggressively there. But let's see if we can do anything here. Moving in on the enemy team now, Rite of Rakshir on Kel'Thuzad. We'll hit him with the edge of that ability, take him down with some auto attacks. And look at that, we're back at 120% sadism already. Push team. I mean, we can get this kill too, but pushing is the appropriate thing to do right now. We're wasting a lot of time here. Wasting a lot of time here, boys. Okay, I'm gonna ping the shit out of middle and hopefully we get some sieging done here. Our team's kind of all over the place, which is unfortunate because we could get a lot of work done. We could win the game right now. Seriously, we could win. Come on. Please.
I agree with this decision.
Please.
Fuck around.
Especially with a Robo Gazlo that's so much fucking siege damage and we're not even utilizing it a little bit right now. Valeera is going to be up in 15 seconds, Sonya in 10, so we're not going to have a lot of time to do this, but it is enough time if we hurry. If we hurry, we can definitely get this done. Also, I mean, we can survive a pretty long time underneath a core. Good job. Glad they decided to focus it. Feels good, man. Feels good. So that's Alarak. I hope I gave you a decent idea, decent overview of what the character is like. He is so fun to play. They went back and they took his old build that was very one-dimensional and made it so you can choose whether or not a certain risk or a certain utility is worth losing potential damage over. If you're playing well, you can rule the battlefield, and if you get countered, if they're attacking you, you definitely feel it, and it can be soul-crushing. Definitely not the type of player for everybody, but for those of you that gravitate to that kind of style, it's so damn rewarding to play. The talents I went for in today's video, if you want to play along at home, we did go for Ruthless Momentum, Chaos Reigns, Hindered Motion, Counter-Strike, Rite of Rakshir, Lethal Onslaught, and Deadly Charge. You can get Deadly Charge at level 10. Actually, I kind of skipped over that. He is the only character in the game that can have both of his level 10 heroic abilities, but you pick them in a certain order. In my opinion, in order to build up on the foundation of getting your sadism, your passive built up really high, Counter-Strike is the best way to do that consistently because it can prevent you from dying and it adds a lot of burst damage into your kit that you had before with your Q ability, but now you have 2 applications of that, so it becomes even more powerful. So highly recommended you get Counter-Strike at 10, and then Deadly Charge is always a great option at level 20, especially if your team is in a winning position. But play Alarak exactly the way you want to. He is built for that now, and I think they did a great job with his talent redesign. One of the most successful ones in the game, as far as I am concerned. Up next, we're going to be looking at a Nubarak. Historically, one of the strongest tanks in the game, then died off for a little while, and is now one of the strongest tanks in the game yet again. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you look forward to the next one.